Mohamad Elmasry joins me now. He's a Middle East analyst and also an associate professor at the Doha Institute for Graduate Studies. Great to have you on the program. Welcome to you. How do you explain why Egypt is getting poorer and poorer? And is it all to do with Sisi's government?
Well, I think you just explained part of it, but Sisi's economic program has privileged the already wealthy. It's privileged large corporations and the military. So unsurprisingly, under Sisi, poverty has increased pretty dramatically as inflation has skyrocketed. And you talked about the subsidy cuts, which are a major cause of the current anger that we're seeing play out on the streets. So about 1/3 of Egyptians live on about $1.50 per day, which is not nearly enough to live in today's Egypt after inflation rates have been accounted for, and about 60% of Egyptians live on only about $3.50 per day. So poverty. I don't want to be reductionist about this. I think there are many factors leading to the anger that we see in the Egyptian street today, but poverty is certainly a main trigger, a primary trigger.
And that anger on the streets, how would you describe it? And do you see it continuing despite all the risks that they face?
Yeah, I mean, it's important to highlight those risks. This is a government that has killed many protesters. I mean, that number is in the thousands. They've arrested thousands more. There are 60,000 plus political prisoners. Obviously, I think everyone knows that the government prohibited protest with their draconian legislation back in 2014. So there are certainly high risks. But people, as I said, people are fed up. Remember that last year, allegations of corruption were delivered by Mohamed Ali, this former military contractor. So Egyptians know that while they have been getting poorer, while life has been getting more difficult for them, Sisi, high-ranking military officers, and Sisi's family have been benefiting. Sisi has spent millions on these lavish palaces for him and for his family, and this also feeds into the anger.
And Mohammed, talk to us a bit more about the Egyptian businessman Mohamed Ali, who has been calling for these protests since last year. How influential is he?
You know, I try to be careful when I talk about Mohamed Ali because I feel like analysts are either giving him all of the credit for what we're seeing in Egypt, or they're not wanting to give him any credit at all. I think it's probably somewhere in the middle. He's certainly played an important role. I think the allegations, which came with documentary evidence, by the way, played a really important role in the protests that we saw last September and that we're seeing again now. On the other hand, I think we would be remiss if we didn't point out that Egyptians already had a pretty good idea about the government corruption. They obviously knew that they were struggling just to make ends meet. And they've been angered by other things that Sisi has done. They were angered when he gave away 2 Egyptian islands. They've been angered by the way he's dealt with the great Ethiopian dam project, which will greatly decrease Egypt's water supply. They've been angered by the way he's dealt with the coronavirus pandemic. And they've been angered by the repression, the mass arrests, shutting down of media and websites, the violence, the authoritarian violence. So I think there are a lot of different variables. Mohamed Ali has played a key role, but we would be wrong, I think, to put it all on him.
All right, Mohamed Elmasry joining us from Doha. Thank you very much indeed.